Okay, so again, good afternoon, everyone. Really nice to see you all in the call. More than 80 people are currently on the call. Very happy to see this huge number of people attending and your interest for our product. Really happy to see this. Just a quick introduction on who I am. My name is Claudia Paicu, and I am the Training and Engagement Specialist here at SAGE. My area of training is SAGE research methods and journals. So basically, I'm overseeing anything that is related to SAGE research methods. It's always a pleasure to share with all of you that I used to lecture economics for 15 years. And the reason why I always like to share this is because it's obviously it gives a huge pleasure to be in front of you, fellow colleagues and in general people that I have collaborated with, not necessarily you directly, but obviously the roles that you are filling right now. I used to work a lot with librarians, with students, with fellow colleagues, professors. So it gives a great pleasure for me to be in front of you today. But the reason why I always like to highlight, obviously from a SAGE research methods perspective, is that I have used this tool and I have obviously kind of like been in your shoes in terms of the questions and the challenges you have when it comes to this product. So when I normally build a training session for SAGE research methods, I always have in mind this academic background and this academic mindset. So I would say that this session will definitely give a little bit more information from this academic perspective. And I tried to basically respond to all possible questions and challenges. But if you do have other questions, please, as I said a little earlier before starting the recording, please drop all your questions inside the chat or simply unmute yourself and and ask any questions along the way. Feel free to interrupt me anytime if you feel there is an important question that is related to the topic that I am covering. That being said, we are ready to start our session. Today's session has quite a straightforward and clear agenda. We are going to have, first of all, a short introduction to what SAGE research methods are, just to kind of have an overall view of, what this platform is, what it does, and, what are the benefits of using this platform. I will also introduce you to the collections which are available, but obviously we are going to have a more in-depth approach for cases for this particular collection. Also, I'm going to very, very quickly touch on the platform tools that are available for you to use. And that would be, let's say, more a theoretical part of our presentation. On the second part of the presentation, we are literally going to navigate on the platform. So we are going to jump on the platform and we are going to run a demo on how to use effectively the platform. And we are going to finish up by some key takeaways and questions, answering basically any questions that you might have along the way. Please be aware that this training deck will contain links for additional resources that are all related to SRM. Pretty much everywhere where you're going to see this arrow here, that means that there is an active link for you to use in order to access additional resources that you can download and use for later on after this session. First thing first, I would like to understand maybe how familiar you are with the SAGE research methods. And I'm just dropping in the chat right now as I speak a link for an idea board. It's basically a virtual board where I would like for you to quickly post your answers. I'm opening it right now, so let's open it together. The reason why I want to do this is just to understand, the level of knowledge that you're currently having on SRM. It's very important for me to kind of see how I dose the information on today's session. So you don't have to give your name. It's purely, purely a question that evaluates the level of knowledge, like an overall information that I want to use just to kind of adjust a little bit the pace, the rhythm, and the tone for this session. Yes. Thank you so much. That's the first question. How familiar are you with SRM that I would like for you to answer? The second one is more for the end, for the feedback at the end. So let's focus first on this question. As I said, purely for me to adjust today's session according to your needs, the participants' needs. I know that that the target for this call was professors and lecturers and also researchers, but I know that this session was open for everyone interested to join in. So also we might have librarians and information specialists joining in. So it's really important to understand, for each category, what type of, knowledge you have on SRM. And it's quite interesting for me to also see, because I know you have a subscription with SRM for various collections since 2018. So it will be really good to see the level of knowledge, and hopefully we'll increase this level of knowledge by the end of this session, because having a subscription with us from 2018, it's definitely a vote of confidence that you are giving to us, and we are very happy to share the knowledge, so you are going to use effectively the platform really easy. Okay, so I think we have a little bit of a mixture. I would say that definitely we have the majority, let's put it like this, the majority are not familiar at all. So from what I can see, I see not familiar or not at all as being quite a common response for my question. But I also see that some people are familiar, meaning that they have maybe just a small kind of knowledge on, I can see maybe like some methods, tools, also maybe some resources that are available inside the platform. What I'm going to do, if it's okay with you, and thank you so much for all these responses, what I'm going to do, I am going to take it a little slow and a little bit easier in terms of explaining first what Sage Research Method is. So when we are jumping into the demo, you have a good understanding of our product. So let's start with basically the beginning. So how I would like for you to start thinking of Sage Research Methods is like a huge platform. It's basically an online platform that contains thousands of resources, and all these resources are dedicated to this subject of research methods. So you're not going to find anything else apart from research methods and anything that is related to this topic. Now, this platform offers support on all levels, and it's very important to understand. It offers support for professors, for students, for librarians. So we are aware that there are multiple people using our platform. So we want to offer support for everyone who is using this platform. We do it therefore at all levels. And what we do is, one, we provide comprehensive library of resources. So one, the resources, overall resources, and two, we are also offering some guidance on how to use these resources. So basically, you are going to have access not only to resources, but let's say some functionalities that will explain to you along the way, step by step, what to do and how to do it. Always happy to say that obviously this is a result for decades spent championing research methods publishing, and we are very happy and proud to share this always with our universities, patrons, and in general our clients. Now, as I said a little earlier, we talk about thousands of resources, and let's be honest, navigating through thousands of resources can be very tiring, can be very confusing, and if these resources are not structured and organized, it can be quite chaotic. Now, what we have done, we have effectively structured and organized everything. So we are not offering you a platform where we throw at you thousands of resources and we let you navigate however you wish or however you can, deal with them. What we have done, basically, we have created different collections, and each collection is combining a certain topic for certain type of resources. And here you see all the collections that are available in general for Sage Research Methods. Now, clearly today's topics is around the cases collection, but I would also like to quickly, just for you to understand our platform and how this is constructed, I would like to explain to you how our collections are built and who they are targeting. And I'm going to go for a few examples. So let's say, for examples, that we have students who are in their first year, and we've all been here and we all know how it is, it can be confusing at the beginning. We don't know exactly where to go and search for information. We don't know what to search for. And effectively, let's be honest, we don't know what research methods are. So we want to understand how we can actually start navigating. So Foundations is a collection that is excellent to have for students who are in their first years, because basically they will have access to short introduction content related to both quantitative and qualitative methods. Now, once a student is going through, the first year and is kind of going towards the last year, maybe master, maybe PhD, obviously the level of knowledge and the experience is growing. So at this stage, these students will need probably resources that are far more intense and more diverse. Books and reference, or also known as core, is an excellent collection to have in order to have access to pretty much everything that is new and is published in the industry related to the research method. So anything that is related to, what has been published for the last years, quite a few good years in the, backwards, but also in the present. That's an excellent collection to have. I mentioned students, but also these collections are open for professors and for librarians. It's an excellent collection to have if you want to, for a professor to kind of use the material, use information in order to, to be in front of students and have a course completed. Librarians can also have different kind of suggestions for the books that are relevant for particular areas of interest. So really these collections are for everyone. It depends, I guess, who is using it and why someone is using this collection. In a similar way, we have the video collection. The video collection offers only videos. So basically, you'll see interviews, you see tutorials with different researchers, fellow colleagues, which are kind of explaining how they done a research project, how to, maybe kind of tips and advice on how to do a good research project. Again, a collection which is open to multiple users. Data sets is also a very good collection to have if we think about, analyzing data. And I talk about literally Excels in analyzing the data. We know it's quite hard, if you want to do some, more intense analysis and you want to include different type of data. Well, data sets are kind of like it's a collection that is offering the possibility to, to play around with data, to exercise and to practice. Many collections, as you can see. So it really is a matter of understanding. The real question is here, what is it that you want out of the platform? What is it that you want to use? And the question is addressed to professors, to students, and to librarians. Because once you know what you would like to use, then you certainly know what type of collection you want to have access to. So it's quite important to have this kind of analysis and to understand on a university level, what is it that you want? Do you want examples? Do you want theory? Do you want to have possibility to practice? It's really a question of how you want to use these materials. And what we are giving to you is this possibility to opt for different collections that will give you different type of resources. And just pausing for the moment to see if there are any questions or something that you would like, to maybe to have a clarification. Okay, I can see that someone's saying that most of resources in foundations, unfortunately, are not available. Yes, this might be the case. What I'm showing to you here right now are all available collection on our platform, but your university obviously is the one deciding the type of collection you have access to. So it might be the case, of course, for some resources and for some collections not to be available for your university. But of course, this can change if the university is deciding to have access to other collections. So I hope this answers your question. Okay, in terms of cases, because this is the particular collection that we're currently having access for your university. Now, cases is a very good collection to have, and the reason why I'm saying is because this particular collection is basically giving you the option to have access to examples, like real life research project examples. And it's very good to have. Just to kind of have an overall view of the collection. So basically each case is focused on a particular method. So it's always a particular research method that is being the topic for the case. Cases in general show how methods are applied in real life research academic projects. So you have basically examples of the research projects that have been building and how they have been building by fellow colleagues. For each case, the researchers will explain why they chose the methods they did, how they overcame problems in their research, and what they might have done differently if they look back and see in a retrospective way the research project. Very important to mention that these are peer-reviewed and they are classroom ready, meaning that basically they can be effectively used as examples by professors during the lessons, during the courses, but they can also be used by the students obviously during their own research project. It can be used as examples of how to generate and how to create a research project, which is quite important. We all know, and I'm talking also from my own experience, we all know how hard it is to find good quality examples. As a professor, you lead by the example, you lead by the power of example. It's not enough to be in front of students and to talk only theory. We all know how important it is for a professor to give a good example in order to double the theory. Theory and examples are going hand in hand, and finding good quality examples sometimes can be challenging or time consuming, because obviously we can extend our research and then we go in multiple resources, and that will effectively take a lot of time. But if you go on our platform, you have everything in one place, one click away. So you'll be ready to go and have an example, find an example that you can use directly in the classroom. On the other hand, working with students, I'm always, I always was asked, can you give me an example? You're showing this, but can you give an example? Because I would like to understand in a practical way. Students, and we all know, and I get it, I understand, we also been students on our own. So students want to understand by examples. They want to see effectively how theory takes place in practice. So they need this kind of examples. So coming to this collection, students will have a broad range of examples in terms of various research methods. So therefore, multiple examples for different kind of research projects. So it's a very good collection to have. Very good collection to have. Now, besides these collections, you also have access to tools. Now, as I said, we only have 1 hour, so we don't have time to go through everything. But what I have included, and you'll find at the end of the training deck, I have included links that will explain a little bit more certain tools, particularly the project planner and the method maps, because these are really good tools to have. So you will have some links to small recordings, like video training recordings that I have done, that will explain to you a step-by-step guidance on how to use this tool. So hopefully this will be good for you, and you'll be finding this useful after this session. Now, very importantly, before jumping into the demo, very importantly to understand how to access the content. And I know there was a question in the chat. I think Laura has shared a link in order to answer this question. There was a question regarding how to access the platform, but also what type of access you have. So I would assume, Ramona, that you were talking about the collections which are available for your university. And I can see a link that has been posted with regards to the collections that you currently have access for your university. I want to answer the second question you have posed, how to access the platform. Well, there are three important steps that you need to have in mind. It's very importantly to understand that in order to access the SAGE research methods, you will need to do it by your website university. Do not Google it, because when you Google it, of course, you're going to find our platform. We are an open platform. But if you go on the platform via Google, you will not be able to have access to the collections that your university is subscribing, meaning the content. You will not have access to the content. You'll find our platform, but everything will be locked. You will not have access to the actual content. So it's important to go via your library website and start the search from there and start the logging process from your university website. Once you're inside our SAGE Research Methods platform, it's important to create a profile and login. Very important, this profile is not related to your university profile. This is strictly an SRM profile, and I will explain in a bit why you should have an SRM profile. Once you have created a profile, then you are ready to start browsing for content. So these are three important steps, but as I said a little earlier, we lead with the power of example, so it's quite important to understand how to access. And Agnese, thank you so much for sharing this information with me. There are a couple of options when it comes to accessing the platform, so it's quite important to understand how to do it. And I would literally just jump and show how it is to be done. As you can see, the first option is to go through your University Biblioteca, connect to the database from the UL. So I'm quickly just opening your website right now and following along, the steps that Agnese was kind enough to highlight. You'll be directed to this page, and from here you'll be able to actually start launching our SAGE Research Methods platform. Yeah, so you have here the option to connect to the database from the UL. That will be a first option to access correctly SAGE Research Methods. A second option would be to access SAGE Research Methods via your e-resources alphabetical list, and then obviously to log in by entering your username and password. So quickly opening your portal, your university. This is the e-resources section. So if you go all the way to the letter S, you'll be able here to see clearly all the resources which are available for your university, and particularly the SAGE research methods. And here you'll be prompted to fill in your username and your password in order to log in and to successfully jump into the SRM, the SAGE Research Methods platform. You hear me a lot saying SRM. That's SAGE Research Methods. It's just, it's a little easier and faster to pronounce it. Okay, so that's how you access the platform. Again, quite important to mention that it's the only way to have access to the content for your university. So please ensure that you access the right way our platform. Now, once you have accessed our profile, our platform, apologies. The next step is to create a profile, and this will be an SRM profile, which is separate from your university. Creating a profile requires your attention only one time, classical things: first name, last name, an email, a password, and that's it. And then all you have to do is to basically log in and, start browsing for the content. That's how easy it is to actually, kind of have access to our platform, create a profile and start browsing. Pausing for the moment, just to see on the first part of the session if there are any questions before moving to the second one, which will include the platform demo. Okay, so then let's go to the demo. And if there are any questions along the way, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll keep an eye on them. I see someone with a hand raised. Please unmute yourself and ask the question. Yes, please. Or maybe just someone.
So I'm sorry. So could
Yes.
you quickly, once again, could you please show how did you get inside through Latvian University? I'm doing the same with you, but I missed somehow. How did you get inside?
Absolutely fine. Bear with me 1 second. Absolutely fine. I can show you immediately. I just need to go back to the slide. So there are basically two options, as I said a little earlier. And Agnese, if you can help me in terms of maybe dropping in the chat the links, that would be really great. Just for those on the call to have these links as we speak along. Of course, they will be present in the training deck shared after the session. But if there are people who want to effectively replicate my steps, it would be really great if you can drop them. Perfect. Thank you so much. So there we go. We have the links, and I'm going to show you again. The first option is via your university biblioteca, and making sure that you select connect, except necessary. Okay, connect to database from the UL. That will be the first option. And the second option, and again, the link is in the chat. And the second option will be to go through the e-resources alphabetical list. And from there to select the letter S, where you'll find obviously the SAGE research methods. There we go. Here, SAGE research methods. Okay.
So this, I'm just gonna add a little.
Please, Agnese, please.
So this is the remote access. When you're asked for username and password, it's the remote access. And in the first, you showed there was connect while at University of Latvia, and next to that was connect remotely, like on-campus access and off-campus access. So this off-campus access is the same as in the alphabet. But so for the person that was asking, if you're right now at the University of Latvia, somewhere in the faculty or somewhere, then you can just take the on-campus access. And if you're outside, then you take off-campus access and write your username and password.
Perfect. Good. Agnese, thank you. Yeah, thank you for obviously clarifying this. It's always good to have someone from university to give a little bit more context. So thank you, and hopefully that kind of answers everyone's question. And if so, I will also open the platform right now to start the demo. I can see there are two questions in the chat that I will respond in a moment. Please allow me to also open my my platform. So this is the platform. Everyone should be able to see more or less the same as I do. As I said a little earlier, and Dita, to answer your question, you see there are some resources with no access and lockers sign in, for examples. Dita, the reason why you see a lock on and you also see the collections colored in gray, so not in white, is because your university doesn't have access to these particular collections. So everything that is white will give you access to resources. Everything that has like a lock sign in and they are gray, that means that the resources are not available for your university. So I hope this answers your question. So from this perspective, my platform looks slightly different than yours because I have access to everything. So everything is white, but I'm just kind of like answering Dita's question, but also kind of, highlighting with everyone on the call that my view can be a little different than yours simply because as a trainer, I have access to everything. But you will have access only to the, obviously the collections that you are currently subscribing to. Everything that is not currently a subscription will not be available for you to use. Therefore, you'll see them colored gray and with a lock sign in, with a small locker on the corner. Okay, I think there was another question related to let me see. Okay, there are a couple of questions related to the VPN, and that I would leave for maybe Agnieszka offline to respond to these, because these are more related to the internal university portal and access, not necessarily related to the training itself. But other than that, I will carry on with the presentation. So basically, this is the platform, and this is how it looks like. And it's quite important to understand that in this particular stage, you will be able to see on the right-hand corner here, if you have successfully logged in via your university portal, you will be able to see here either the logo or the name of your university. So I'm seeing Sage because I'm logged in as a Sage employee, but you will be able to see here the institutional logo or the name, and that will be a clear sign that you have successfully logged in using your password, and you have successfully logged in via your university portal. So that's a good indication that you have logged in successfully. Next to the logo, you'll be able to see my profile section. So if you click on my profile section, here you'll be prompted to create a profile. So if you click on create my profile, then you will need to fill in all the information only one time to create that profile. It will work if you have already signed in via your university portal, and you'll be able to see the logo of your university. So this is important to mention. So once you have successfully signed in, the logo of university is there, you can carry on creating a profile. After you have created a profile, all you have to do each time you come back to our platform is to make sure that you click sign in. And once you have signed in, then next to the logo of your university, you will be able to see your name. And it's quite important to mention that as well. So these are basically two steps to take at the beginning of your journey in terms of navigating and browsing for content on our university. It's quite important to see the name of your company or the logo and your own name here. Okay. So once the profile is created, please give a little time for the information to update. Ramona, I can see that it says the profile is created, but you can't sign in. Give a little time and it will sync and the information will be there. So first step, well done, you have created the profile. Now all you have to do moving forward is making sure that you can sign in, and then once you sign in, your name will appear there. But please always, as I said, ensure that you have logged in via your university website and that you see the logo of your university here. Now, since you have logged in successfully, created a profile, you have signed in, now, let's have a look at the platform and get used to it. Remember what I said a little earlier, that everything is structured and organized depending on the type of resources. This is why I said a little earlier that you have access to certain collections that you're currently subscribing to. And one of the collections that you have access is obviously the cases. So I'm going to open now the collection just for you to see how it looks like and what's inside. And I'm opening the collection. And inside the collection, in general, we have again another level and another layer of organizing and structuring. So cases are organized by discipline, meaning that you can easily start browsing for information depending on the type of discipline that you're currently having access. Now, I know that you are more into the science, sociology, but nevertheless, it really is a big platform that gives, as you can see, access to many disciplines. So it's really a question, what discipline do I want to start my search on? And then search for a certain discipline and select that discipline. Another way to search for cases is to go by method. So it's really important to see, okay, what type of research method I want to actually have access to. Let's say that I would like to go on focus group. So I go for the letter F, and then here I have all the resources, including the focus groups that I am interested in. So another way to start browsing and searching for content is related to the type of research methods that you would like to find out more. Also, you can go on academic level, and here you'll be able to select again the resources. Are you an undergraduate? Are you kind of like in the middle level, or maybe you are advanced or postgraduate? So the question is, where are you? And then select the type of resource that you want to have access to. And I normally like to use the methods, to be honest. So I always like to go, and I will start with the focus group because that's what I mentioned. So I would like to find out everything that is related to focus group in this particular collection, cases. Once I select this, then I will see everything that is available for my university in terms of cases. And this is how it looks like. This is the page with the results. And I would like for you just, to get a little bit familiarized with how it looks like. It's basically a page with results. And as you can see, for each case, we'll have the title, the author, the publication date, the methods that are currently on discussion, and a short abstract to read through and to understand that, is this case for me? If it's not, I can carry on scrolling until I find something that I like. Now, scrolling through the list can be tiring, and obviously, if you talk about hundreds of resources, it can be also like time consuming. So what would be a recommendation is to have a look on the quick filters located on the left-hand side here. Make sure that you select content available for me, given the fact that, as I said a little earlier, some collections are not available for your university as a subscription. So if you click on content available to me, the search will generate the resources which are available to you. So you will not see the ones with the lock. You'll see only what's available for your university. So once you have selected this, you can carry on with, selecting different types of filters. What I always like to highlight here are the disciplines. So it's quite important, to select the type of disciplines that you want. And also, very importantly, I always like to say, the publication date. It's so easy to navigate. Look how easy it is to, select the time frame that you want. And we can go back all the way to 2006, or maybe keep it a little closer here. Once I'm happy with the filters, I make sure to click apply filter, and that will narrow down my search, and that will be easier for me to navigate through the content that is available for me. So basically, once I have this filter set up and I have everything that I want, I can start looking through the cases. And once I'm happy with the case, and I'll just select one particular case just to show what's inside the case and what a case looks like. So I will just have this one, a randomly one, the focus group as a tool to get young people talking. I will open this one. And this is how a case looks like in our platform. And it's quite important to mention that in general, for each collection you will open, this will be the generic format. This is how it looks like. So you need to start kind of becoming familiar with this type of content and display, because this is how it looks like in terms of everything on our platform. You have a general information about the case, and then this is the case. This is the actual case. So you have an abstract where you read everything and deciding if this case is indeed a good one for you. And then, very importantly, you have the learning outcomes, which I think this is a fantastic feature to have. For a professor, it's so important to understand if this case would be good to use during a course. And reading through these learning outcomes, you can easily decide if you want to use this example or not during the class. So it's just, an easy way, let's put it like this, an easy way for a professor to quickly decide if he's going to use or not this case. Is it good or is it not good? Okay. And clearly, if you scroll all the way down, then you will be able to see effectively the case. And for each section, we offer a small summary. So we kind of have this kind of automated way of browsing through the content in an easy way. So obviously, you can go directly to the section summary, but if you want to read the details, you read the entire case. And for each section, there is a summary, as I said a little earlier. Very importantly, at the end of each case, we have, and that's something that I want to show you. So at the end of each case, we have actually, and again, very, very nice to have, Discussion questions. These are basically just, let's put it like this, recommendations of possible topics to be discussed during a class, during a small group workshop. Suggestions, you can use them or not, but they are there, they exist, they are there, so you can easily go through these suggestions and see if you might use something. Also, we offer the possibility to do a quiz that will allow to test the level of knowledge for each case. So it's good to have these quizzes because this will basically test the level of knowledge for a student in terms of how well you have understood all the information that it's here. And it's nice, it's engaging, it's not just reading, a plain text. It gives you the possibility as a student, to go and say, hey, let's test, what have I learned from this case? What am I taking out of this case? Let me do this quick quiz and see where I am. It's kind of an engaging part that we want to actually deliver to you. So basically, this is a case. And as you can see, along the way, there are always links, meaning that you can easily start a new search on our platform from this particular word. So we also offer this kind of engaging way to just, kind of navigate from one page to another, navigate from one search to another. So it's quite interesting. So if you would like to find out more, you can always use these links in order to have more information. We also, very importantly, offer the option to download our figures, our tables, and in general, our content. If you have a look, and that's what I want to go next, if you have a look here on the right-hand side, you can see already that I'm moving my mouse and you see these blue dots, blue buttons. Well, these are functionalities that you can use for each collection. Everything on our platform is shareable. Everything is downloadable. So for example, if you'd like to share this resource with a professor or with a colleague, what you can do is to actually generate a link that you copy to clipboard, and then you can share it with your colleagues from the same university. It's quite important to mention, because we talk about subscriptions. So we need to have the same people having the same subscription. You can also share this content via multiple ways. You can do it using, like even social media, like LinkedIn, like Facebook, but we already have a preset, I would say, field with email because we all know how important it is to communicate nowadays via our emails. So all you have to do is to fill in the email address of the person you want to share the link, and you'll be able to send this content to that person. Also, very importantly, and we all know how important it is because we are talking about, like sharing this information, you can actually download as a PDF this content. So we don't keep you on our platform. If you want to download and, to read later on offline, you can do that. You can download the PDF version of this content. And also, because we also know how important it is for students to use references for their own project, we also have the option to cite. So if you go here, cite, then you'll be able to select the format. And I know there are a couple of formats that you use, depending on the type of discipline and depending on the type of department. APA and Harvard, I understand that they are quite commonly used for your university, but nevertheless, you have here all the options which are available. Make sure that you select the right type of reference, and then you'll be able to use this reference for your own project. And as you can see, this is how it looks like. You have the information with regards to the author, the title, you have the information with regards to the publications. You can easily make sure that you copy this and you put it inside your own project, and there you go, you have the reference there. So this is how it looks like. Basically, this is and I will just pause just to see if there are any questions, because this is how cases look like on our platform. This is how a resource would look on our platform. So pausing right now just to see if there are any questions. So kind of like concluding, or kind of like a summary of what we discussed. So if you are on our platform, on the Sage Research Methods, you see all the collections your university is currently having access marked as white, Everything that is gray and having a lock, it means that you as a university don't have access to these collections. From the collections you're having access, if you scroll here in I want to explore area, this is where you're going to see the collections. Also, I want to learn about is another area where you might see other collections which are available to you. Once you are happy with the collection, all you have to do is make sure that you click on the collection, you open the collection, and then you decide how you want to start searching for the content. Do you want to search by discipline? Do you want to search by method? Do you want to search by academic level? Once you have decided on how to access, just make sure that you make the selection, that you open. I'm going to use now, let's say, a discipline just to show how the content is kind of showcased in a similar pattern. So if we go, for example, on, like in the education area, and we click on this one, again, you'll be prompted with the same display, a list with results. As you can see, it's identical. This is how our results page is looking like on our platform. Just ensure that you use the quick filters on the left-hand side. Always select content that is available to me, and then you browse through this information, and then you select what you want. Very importantly, I want to show you, just in case you want to start saving the content, saving meaning that you want to come back later on and you don't want to start a search from zero. What you can do is to actually start creating your own list. We call them reading list. It's a tool basically that offers you the option to save and to come back later on to different type of content. So for example, let's say that you would like to save this particular case. You have here an arrow, a tiny heart here. So if you're going to click here, you will be asked, where do you want to save it? And because you are new on this platform, you will need to start building up your own list. So what you do here, you go on the second part here, create a new list, and you will be starting, kind of creating your list. So I'm just going to see Latvia because we are Latvia today. If you want, you can add a short description. Private means that you keep this list only for yourself. If you're making it public, and that's what I would recommend, it means that you can share this content with your colleagues. So anyone can, who is working on the same project as you do, can have access to this information. So once you have created a list, all you have to do is click save, and the list is created and the title is added to that list. Okay? That's what you'd have to do at the beginning because you don't have lists for the moment. But let's say that you have started creating your list and now you have list. Let's add this title. Yeah. And because I already have created my list, you'll see plenty of them because I have lots of created. But what you'll be able to see is here, the list that you have just created. So you'll be able to start adding more titles to this list. And also you can start creating multiple lists that you are later on visiting for content. Okay. So once you have a list that you want to add, Latvia, I click add, and then I actually added this content here. Inside the case, so if you go inside, and I'm going to open this particular case, and inside, let's say that you're inside the case and you're reading it, it's good, I like it, I want to save it. You also have here the option to click on the heart, and again, to add to an existing list, or if you want to start creating a new list here, okay? Now, where do you find the content that you're saving? And this is why I said it's so important to create a profile, because now I can explain why it's important to create an SRM profile. You will not be able to save and to use this heart unless you have a profile. So you can navigate on our platform, you can search for content, but if you want to start saving and, later on sharing reading lists with your colleagues, you'll need to have a profile. Where do you find this list that you have created? Where do you find what you're saving? All inside your profile. So if you click on your name, view my list, and this is where you're going to find all the lists that you are creating, including Latvia that I have just created. Now, the reason why I said to keep it public is because you have here a couple of options that you can use. And in between this option, you have the option to share. So if you click on the share, that means that you are able to share this list with everything that you have saved inside with your colleagues. Again, by social media, by email, it's really your choice, but you have the option to share it with those interested. Opening the list will take you to the content that you have saved. So basically, I have saved with you 3 cases, and you'll be able to see all 3 cases here. And from here, you can easily open the case and carry on reading. As you can see, it's just another way to basically search for content, but you don't have to start from zero. You just go directly to what you have saved, and you have access to what you have saved. Okay? So that's how you save. And this is where you find all the content that you're saving. It's very easy. Yeah, remember that you can save by pressing the little heart. It's either you create a new list or you can add it to an existing list. To view whatever you have saved, make sure that you go into your profile, you select view my list, and that's where you're going to find all the lists. Okay, Zane Silinia. Do people I'm sharing the list will need to have profile access to platform, or can it be anyone? So the first important thing is to understand that if you're sharing this content, it has to be with someone from your university who has access to the same collections. So if you're going to share with someone outside the university, they will not have access because they don't have a subscription. They don't have an active subscription to this collection that your university is paying for. So that's the first part of your question. The second question that you're saying, if they will need to have a profile and access, yes, they would need to have a profile in order for them to be able to work with you on the list. So if they would like to add titles, if they would like to edit this list, they will need to have profiles created. Yes, that's the answer. Okay, so remember, access to the content only with these which are part of your university because they have same kind of subscription. And importantly, if you want to invite a colleague to work on your list to add, remove titles, then they will need to have a profile as well. Good question. Okay, thank you.
So we still have a lot of questions about creating the personal account. It seems like it doesn't quite work for a lot of people. So it seems like after this, we should figure out what might be the problem.
Yes, Agnieszka, this is why I said that maybe we can take this offline after the training session, because it seems that it's something related to the VPN. So if you can just have a quick look and see what's going on. If you still have issues, reach out to me and I'll make sure to put you in contact with our technical team, because that's pretty much where the answers will come from. But please make sure that you understand first what is the issue or the problem, because the technical team would like to understand what is going on there. So try to see if there is something related to accessing, inside the campus or outside the campus remotely VPN. And once you have everything kind of sorted out, just let me know. And if it's still an issue, then I'll make sure to pass this on to my colleagues, and they will assist you for sure on this matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For the moment, if you can't make a profile, it's absolutely fine. You still can browse. You can still have access to content. You can still use our platform. The only thing that you will not be able to do is to save on reading list, but you would be able to download, you will be able to use as a reference, you will be able to explore all our collections that are available for your university, you will be able to search, so you'll be able to have access to the content. The fact that you seem to have a small issue with creating a profile right now will not limit in any way your access to the content, and that's important to mention. You will have access to the collections, to the content. You can easily use the functionalities in terms of downloading it as a PDF or using as a reference. You'll still be able to generate a link and to share it for your colleagues to have access to that content. The only thing that you will not be able indeed to do because you don't have a profile is to start saving, but that should be very quickly fixed if you are setting up a profile. Okay, I will leave it with Aniese to liaise with you after the session and see how you can do this and what is the issue and find if there is an issue, and then definitely you'll be able to save content as well. So that's how easy it is to navigate. One more thing I want to show you before we are wrapping up this session is the search functionality here. So of course you can start searching through the collection, but just have in mind that you have here in the green area the search function. The search will allow you basically the option to search for a particular content. So if you want to search for a particular research method and you don't want to go through collection, just make sure that you type here that keyword. So if you'd like to go for focus groups, for example, just type focus groups here, and what it does, it will simply generate a list with results which are linked only to this particular research methods. So please be aware that you can also search by using a keyword, a key term, if you go into the search functionalities in the gray area here, okay? If you'd like an advanced search, clicking on the advanced search will offer you the option to add more filters to your search and to narrow down the search. That's quite an important thing to also mention when it comes to our platform and how to access the information, okay? Okay, that being said, additional resources. So as I said a little earlier, you have access to a short training which will give you more information on how to access and how to set up a profile. Also, a gentle reminder for a particular collection that I know you have subscription for, or used to have subscription in the past, which is CORE, the books and reference. Also the project planner and the method maps, and also the LibGuides. And yes, I think that's something that might be useful for you. The LibGuides that you can share internally, it's basically a page where you have access to multiple resources and all related to SRM, basically. I'm not sure how we are with the time. I think we are literally at the end of the session. If you can use the same link, that would be really great to, post a little bit of a feedback. It's always appreciated. So just, use the same, I'm using like posting it right now in the group. I would really appreciate if you could just, spare the time and quickly, opening this link on the virtual board and, look on the last question, which is sharing the feedback, and just write down a few notes, just to understand what is it that you like about the SRM, how do you think you're going to use it. This will definitely help us in the future in building up this session, and obviously having in mind if we do go for another round of session with you, where to spend more time. So yeah, if you have the time, it would be really nice. Please post them there. Very grateful if you have the time. Any other questions? If not, we are kind of reaching the end of the session. Any other questions? I think we're good. It seems that most of the questions were related to the profile, creating the profile, which I'm sure will be fixed. So if there is an issue and it still persists, we are definitely getting there with our technical team. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Aniese, thank you so much for your support in promoting and organizing this session. And thank you to all of you who have kind of turned up to this session. Open for another session if you think it's needed, if you think that you might need another session just to kind of, go into more details. I know this was an introduction. I know it was a lot of information. Hopefully the recording will give you time to digest, because you go back and you review. And if you feel there is a need for another session, just reach out and we'll be happy to accommodate another session for sure. And thank you so much for all this feedback. Really appreciate it. I think we're reaching the end of the session, so we are all good.
Yes, thank you very much. I see it has been very useful.
Thank you. I can see that the feedback is still incoming. So thank you so much. And also thank you so much for the notes on the Teams. Okay, then I want to thank you. We'll stop the recording now. We'll share with Agnieszka all the resources. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see each other to another session. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.